Hey everybody, welcome back to Trinity Dairy. It's Wednesday, June 30th. Beautiful day out. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Pretty warm again today, a little in the humid side, but nice out with the rain we got. The corn and stuff should be growing. But anyway, we're in here in the old barn. I got the Farmall B here. Those of you who have been with the channel know what the story is on it. If you're new to the channel, there's some videos from this last winter on kind of this project. This was supposed to be done last winter and it got put on the back burner, and it just kind of wound up turning into more than I thought. Started out as actually replacing an alternator belt, and it wound up getting into the radiator was leaking, and then I found a governor housing had a shaft that was worn, that was leaking some oil. The valve cover gasket was leaking a little, so got the radiator off, got that gone through and fixed, got the governor housing shaft rebuilt. And I did get this thrust bearing on the governor. I was just going to use this old one, but I got looking on Steiner's and they weren't that expensive, and I ordered a gasket anyway. So I just ordered a new bearing, thrust bearing. This one, you know, wasn't, I mean, everything is all there, but it kind of rusty inside and stuff. And I thought, well, as long as I'm here, it's kind of one of those deals where do you where do you stop, you know? I initially thought the crank seal was leaking because this pedestal was full of oil. Most of it actually was antifreeze once I got it off of there, and I think the oil was coming from the valve cover and then the governor shaft. Because if this seal was leaking, I got looking after it, it wouldn't wind up in the pedestal. I mean, maybe a little, but there's an opening between there, it would run out. So, and with the front and everything pulled off, I had this cover cleaned off, and I ran it for, I can't remember how long. I didn't want to run it too long without water in there, but I think I ran it for about a minute or so, and it was still bone dry. So, because I've heard those pulleys, you can wind up cracking them because they're pressed on. You got to be real careful with them. And the little bit this tractor gets used, if that thing is leaking a little bit of oil, it's not that big a deal. My main issue was I was getting so much stuff in there that it was wrecking the belts for the fan and the alternator, and it was just softening up the belts, and it wouldn't charge or anything. So with the radiator being fixed, and then I'll get a valve cover gasket on stuff. But anyway, so now we're going to put this governor housing on so that I can fire this back up and get it out of here, get it over to the garage. Okay, so here's the governor housing. This long shaft that goes from back here all the way through to here, I didn't pull out. There's needle bearings in there. It seems pretty tight, and it wasn't leaking, so I just left that alone. I did fill this up with gear oil while it's been sitting in the garage and let it soak into all those bearings and everything. But this was the one that was leaking, the short shaft, and there's no kit for this. There's no bushing even in here for this shaft. It's just made right into the cast, and that was really worn out bad, and every used one I found was worse than this one. So I had a machine shop here. He made a new shaft on this and then put in a new bushing, machined it out and put in a bushing. So that should be good to go now. And the seal that was in there is a felt seal, and I couldn't find a seal to replace it. So I just took that one. It had like a tin cap on it. I just took a hammer and lightly tapped it down so it compressed, and it seems like it sealed up good. So alright, here's the new bearing here. Like I said, I just got this through Steiner's. I did take it apart. It just comes apart, and put some grease in there just so it's not running dry. This will kick oil up into there, but since it's been, give it something to run on to start with. So we'll just slide this back on. Sure that's freed up. Spring is working good in there. I don't go too crazy with this stuff, just kind of enough to, probably wouldn't even need it on a new gasket, but it does help keep the gasket in place while you're putting it on there. Get too crazy with it and then it'll just push it inside there and cause more problems. Alright, well, I'll get that on here. Alright. Now we should be able to bolt it on there. There we go. There, that should be good. Probably put a regular cotter pin in there once I get it to the garage, but I'll just stick this back in there for now. That's what was in there. Alright, well, that's on there. I'll check the gas in here and see how that's... You can hear me, the milk truck just pulled in, so a little on the loud side. I'm going to not have the muffler on it though, because I don't want to get my exhaust up too close to the ceiling and burn the barn down. Because that has happened. Out of gas. I'm gonna have to get some gas in here, so we'll come back. I gotta run town and get some gas because my barrel's empty anyhow, so get some gas in here and then it should fire up. Okay, I got some gas dumped in this beast. Let's see if it'll fire up. That was part of the reason I rebuilt that governor shaft, because it didn't want to idle down all the way. It was getting warm, but it idles down pretty nice now. I'm not going to run it too long without any coolant in it. I'm just going to drive it over here closer to the shop so I can work on it. There. All right. Now, I'll probably get the, clean up this a little bit more, clean off around the valve cover so I can put the valve cover gasket on. Get my belts on and fan, radiator. I do have a new front tire for it too, so it'll have both front tires again. Another thing too, I am going to run up. I was looking on Craigslist the other night, and actually last night, and somebody not real far from here, I found they have a B Farmall. It looks pretty much like this. It's kind of sitting off to the side. The engine's apart. Says he's got the hood and the grill and everything. It's got a saw rig mounted on the back. I don't know if it's I think it's probably a homemade one, but I'm not sure. But it looks like it's got quite a few good parts on it, so I'm going to run up and take a look at that. I'm probably going to pick that up just to have around for parts, because you never know when you're going to need something, and these things are getting expensive if you got to go try to buy parts for them. So, and I thought that little saw rig might be kind of cool to have. It looked like that was in pretty good shape from the picture. So anyway, probably Friday I think I'm going to go take a look at that, so that might be kind of neat to see what we pick up there if we get something. So anyway, I'm going to just park this here for now. I'm going to go see about getting some more hay to chop for that bag, and we'll go from there. All right, hey everybody, we're going to pull the bagger off of this bag. I talked to my grandpa about chopping a little more hay to put in there, but he's got all his spoken for already, so we're just gonna end it where it's at there. And I got to get this bagger back to Johnny, so, and I don't have any more around here to cut. I got a little bit down the road further, but that we're gonna bail because I split it with that guy. So we're just gonna end it here. So that's what we're gonna do now. I'd say that was the best money I ever spent, but I got that mower for free. Well, can't go wrong there. All right, I think what we're gonna do is just pull it ahead a little ways so we got enough bag off there to seal it, and then whatever's left, then I can just take off. I'll leave it so it's kind of wrapped up, because sometimes I use that plastic for different things, whatever we're doing. If I want to cover something, it's good heavy plastic, so instead of just throwing it away. So anyway, that's what we're going to do now. Loosen the brake up a little bit, and then pull ahead some, cut it off, and then we can take the rest of the plastic off the bagger, because I don't think there'll be enough left. By the time you start another bag and close off another bag, you might get one load in there. So that's what we'll do now. I think Paul's loosening the brake. So all right, so now what we got to do, we got the backstop taken down, the end of the bag. So now we got these cables to roll back up on here, one on each side. On this bagger, that runs hydraulically from the tractor. So Justin's going to hold the lever in the tractor, and then I can run it here with the tension on this belt, and then we'll wind those up. All right, well, we got the bagger pulled off. We got the rest of the bag off. Joshua, don't walk on that. Got it wrapped up here, kind of. It was a little wet, so I'm gonna let it dry out. Use it for covering hay or something. So now we'll get the backstop mounted on here, get it ready for road travel. Then we'll get the end of this bag sealed up. We're just gonna put some dirt over the end. I don't know, I've heard people say, I've never vented them before. They'll usually balloon up a little bit, and then sits a couple days it goes down. I've never done peas and oats. Some people say with peas and oats you get a lot more gas buildup, so I guess we'll seal it up and kind of keep an eye on it. If it really looks like it's puffing up, I might vent it a little bit, but we'll kind of play that by ear. Thursday, July 1st today. Beautiful day out again. We're getting a little bit of, well, it's switching around now. It was cool this morning. We were getting some Lake Superior air, but it's warming up a little now. But anyway, we got to do some fixing today on a couple things, and I think maybe later this evening we're going to try to open up that pasture silo, feed some corn silage out of there, because the pasture just isn't keeping up anymore with the dry weather we've had. So I think we're going to get that opened up and start feeding out of there. We got that oats and peas bag sealed up last night, so we can let that ferment. I was going to feed out of that right away, but I figured I'd open the silo. So anyway, I've been working some on the Farmall B. I'll go over and show you what I've been doing there. And then we got the 1066 here. And I noticed when this was on the bagger, that inside of here, this little strap of steel, and then around, you can't see it really, it's on the other side, but it was rubbing. So this whole wheel has moved in. You can actually see it pretty well. If you look here, it's almost touching the cab. And you go over to this side, it's moved in probably 3 or 4 inches. So then I noticed on this side, you've got this plate here, and then I think there's one like this on the outside, and there's 2 bolts. And on this side, those are gone. Like I said, that side flipped around, but so those have fallen out of there somewhere along the way, and it started moving in. So what I'm going to do is get this jacked up and get the dual pulled off the outside, so I can get in there and see what I need and get the parts for that. I got it parked here in the shade, so it's supposed to be in the 90s again this weekend, so at least I can work on the shade there anyway. And the little B here, I was going to put the fan belt on yesterday. Get the fan on. The belt I had picked up wound up being too short, so I went to town today and I got this one here. That one, in a pinch it will work, but the adjustment is maxed all the way out to the top. There kind of isn't a happy medium in there, so he's got one ordered that'll be in this afternoon. It's like 3/4 of an inch longer than the original one I had. I'm hoping that'll work. I wanted to go about 1 inch longer, but they didn't have one, or couldn't even get one. So anyway, I haven't done too much to it. I did pull the valve cover off. I got that all cleaned up. I got the old gasket off. Actually, inside of here, it actually looked really clean. This is what it looked like when I took it off. So I think my grandpa must have been in here at one time, and not too long ago, because I don't really remember working on it, but we must have been in here. The gasket that was on here actually wasn't too bad. This nut was a little bit loose, so I think that might be where it was leaking. And then also where this bolts down, they just had a flat washer on there and then a nut. There was nothing to seal it. So I'm gonna, once I put it back together, I'll probably put an O-ring or some RTV silicone around those to kind of seal that up, because I'm sure that was leaking. So that's what we'll work on now. All right, so I got a new gasket for this anyway, so we'll get that put on there and get the valve cover done, and then I can see about getting a new belt. Once I get the belt and radiator on, I think I'm going to pull this up. I'll get this valve cover on, some engine degreaser on, and get this cleaned up a little bit better. But I got this cleaned off good here, so I didn't get any dirt inside. And I did check the valve lash on these, and I was going to adjust it, but it was all good. I'm thinking we might have had it apart at one time and did that not too long. Well, it's been a while ago now, but this thing doesn't get used much. So, but anyway, I'll go get the gasket and we'll get this on.
Under the shed?
Nope, battery was still good even.
Huh?
The battery was still good up on it even. I didn't have to crank it.
You just hop down and start right up?
Yeah, did.
Huh.
Like one crank and it was running.
But you didn't have to use this, right?
Nope.
Hopped on, didn't even turn the key, and just started right up. Yeah, have you ever had one of a crank kick back?
Oh, yeah.
One?
You
Once?
gotta watch it, because if they catch your hand, it hurts.
I think it was like a McCormick or something. And that's the one that had the...
That's the one that kicked back, yeah. Did you ever have to crank your H? Nope, I didn't even have a crank for it.
What is that thing?
It's the valve cover.
Where are the pistons at?
They're inside down in here.
Could you see them?
All right, well, I'm going to leave that silicone tack up a little bit on there before I tighten them down completely, because then it won't push it through underneath so bad. So we'll leave that set for now for a little bit. All right, well, I've been going back together with the little B here. Made quite a bit of progress. Got the radiator on. Got 2 new belts on. The belt that I had picked up this morning was way too long, so the one they brought me, that one was worked out good. Got the alternator on. I did run it a little bit. It was charging, so that's working good. New hoses, put new radiator upper and lower. They seem to be good. They're not leaking. So, also we got, I got it full of coolant. I see there is a little bit of coolant down here, but I think that came out the overflow when I was filling it. So we will fire it up here again now, and now we can run it a little bit longer and check for any valve cover leaks or coolant leaks. Ready?
Yep.
A little bit of a clicking here. I think it must be something in this alternator.
Alternator.
I'm gonna have to inspect that a little bit and see if I can figure out where that's coming from. All right, I think I got that figured out here. I just had to move this bracket up a little on the bolt because these fins were ticking. I think it'll be better now. Everybody, welcome back to Trinity Dairy. It's Monday, July 5th. It's about, I think it's about 8:30 in the evening actually. It's finally cooling down today. Today I think the high was 90 or 91. Been that way for a few days. Supposed to be a high of 65 tomorrow, so that'll be kind of a shock, but it'll be nice. Hope everyone had a good 4th of July. We had a good weekend here. We got some hay baled Friday, and then we kind of just chilled out over the weekend, watched some fireworks. Had some good food, and I messed with this B Farmall some. I didn't really get any video of that. It was so darn hot down here in front of the garage, and I just kind of come and mess with it a little bit, and then we'd go off, do something else, whatever, and come back to it. So, but we putzed around with it. We got it looking like a tractor again. I did go through, sprayed the engine down with some degreaser and kind of hosed that down. Got the other new front tire on. Or the new front tire. The other one's not new, but at least it's got 2 front tires that hold air now. Alternator's on, and that's charging now. So that's new belts, new hoses. Got the tin work back on. And then today what I did, we got this together today. I got the tin on. Finished that up this morning. And then this had where the belt pulley is. There's a seal inside here. I pulled the belt pulley off. That had been leaking, so I put a new seal in there. And then, oh, let's see, when was it? A couple days, Thursday or Friday, something like that, I went and picked up a parts B Farmall. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. Yeah, so we'll go check that out. That's one of the things I'm going to try to do on that yet tonight. The seat springs on this, the springs have broke. This one, they were completely broken off, so that one's got good springs on it. The seat pan isn't good, but the springs are good, so I'm going to go get that off of there. Another thing I did on this, I actually just did a little bit ago. I got the oil changed on it. That was much needed, but it runs pretty good. It's not fancy, but it'll do a day's work. So anyway, we'll run out and I'll show you that parts B I got, and we'll get to pull the seat springs off of there. I can show you some of the other parts that's got with it too. The guy I got it from, I don't know why he bought it, if his intention was to fix it or if he bought it for parts or what, but he never did anything with it. But he told me the guy that he got it from tore the engine all apart because it had a bent connecting rod, and he was right. If that's not a bent connecting rod, I'm not really sure what is. But a guy took it all apart, took the engine all apart, and never put it back together. So I got all these parts. Got the air cleaner, assembly, oil bath, and the cover. This has got the oil filter housing, but this is the taller one. I don't know if what the difference was. This B has the shorter one, but got the magneto. The B I have is a distributor one, but just all kinds of miscellaneous parts. Water neck, a tail light or headlight. Got the pressure plate for the clutch. The radiator seems good. I thought was kind of neat. It probably doesn't work. I don't know. I thought about taking it apart, but it's got the assembly on here for the exhaust lift for lifting implements. I thought that was kind of neat. I don't know. I might pull it apart. I don't know that it would work again. It's probably not really any good inside, but kind of neat to take it apart and see what's in there. Oil pump, all kinds of head. The head looks all right. The crank actually looks all right. Valve cover. So I don't know. I'm gonna throw all them parts in the shed, and if I need or somebody else needs, I got parts. There's a whole bucket of internal parts. So anyway, we'll run out and we'll bring some tools out, pull them seat springs off, and check that out. Now I'm sure when I show this, I'm gonna have people going into convulsions because I brought more junk home, because I hear all the time about how I have too much junk. But you know, when I can have a breakdown and get something back operating, back in the field the same day, with the stuff I have around here, it's well worth it to have a little bit of stuff around here. So that chopper is a perfect example of that, and this as well. I mean, you never know, you need a part piece. Some of these old tractors, there's certain stuff you can't get anymore even, or it's hard to find. So if I got to have a few things sitting in the fence row, that's the way it's going to be. And I will admit there's some stuff around here that needs to go. I think I hauled 4 loads of scrap this spring, so I'm definitely picking away at it. But so anyway, here it is. It's not much to look at, obviously. Most of it's in the back of my pickup, but the gas tank, I was actually really surprised. I don't know if the camera will show it, but it actually looked really clean inside. It probably isn't gonna show much, but I shined a flashlight in there and there's no rust at all in there. This thing was sitting out under the pine trees, so that surprised me. The block, I don't know. With that rod being bent like it was, I thought for sure the block would have a hole in it, but that I can see it doesn't. But I don't know, you know, how salvageable it is. The cam is obviously still in it, and I suppose that's stuck, but the front steering gear, that all turned good. So that was good. The starter turns. I didn't put power to it, but we reached in underneath and you could spin it. So transmission shifts. You know, your gauge box. Like I said, the seat pan itself isn't any good, but the springs are good. And then here's the saw right here. I thought this was kind of neat. It doesn't have a tilt bed, but it just drives off the belt pulley. A couple bearings and a shaft underneath, so, and that all turns. So I think I'm going to put that on there as well. It'd be kind of a neat little addition. I thought that was kind of cool. Wheel weights. The wheel weight on the other side we actually pulled off. That one had a crack in it. My brother was going to try to weld it, but just to mess with that a little bit. I think this rim is good. The other side, they had fluid in them, and the other side leaked all over, and that rim was no good. But this one looks pretty good. So, but anyway, I'm going to try to buzz that seat off and put them springs, get them swapped over.
You got the springs all replaced?
Yep.
It's gonna be like sitting on a cloud.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be real nice. At least it latches again like it's supposed to, so it doesn't flip up on you when you're driving it.
Ooh, much better.
Now you just need to paint it.
Yeah. I may be taking my life into my own hands, but I'm going to ride on the back.